For those of you who are taking Thesis Seminar, we're finishing up week 7, and I wanted to give you a few tips and some things to think about as you begin developing your method section. I would recommend checking your title page and would suggest that you add the word by before your name, so you put by and then your name after the title, and then below I would add tutor, colon, and then my name as it appears here. Now I will say that I will leave it up to you. It's optional if you want to include my name as the tutor. That's completely up to you if you want to include it, but it's not required. The rest of this I would say is required. The title of your thesis, your name, the university, and the date. Now as you continue making changes to your literature review, make sure that the formatting is double spaced, left justified, make sure all paragraphs have an indentation. Make sure you have equal spacing between paragraphs and between paragraphs and headings, just as it appears here in this example. Notice the spacing between the paragraphs and the headings are the same, as well as the spacing between each paragraph. So I would go ahead and update information in the methods section. So begin filling out the sections with information related to participants, instruments, and the research design or the procedure. So you'll have basically 3 sections. This is what we talked about in the last face-to-face session that we had with the entire group. And that video, if you need to see that again, you can find that under class announcements, and you should be able to find that here where it states method section presentation. So here you can download the presentation, or you can also see the video here if you click on this button here. So I would go ahead and start updating the information in the methods section. I'm not going to be grading this section until April 17th, but it does help me, and I think it helps you throughout the planning process, to go ahead and update this information, include the information that you're planning on doing, with the understanding that if you have to go back and change that, you certainly can do that. I'm not going to grade it again until April 17th, but go ahead and start updating this information as it pertains to your own research. Now, I will say that the due date for the instrument design I have listed here as being due in 7 days. Per our schedule, we have basically 3 weeks for the instrument design and 4 weeks for the data collection. One of those 4 weeks actually is Holy Week, so you may or may not be able to count that week. But a lot of you have already started your data collection, which is fine, and some of you will not have your instrument completely designed until later, which is also fine. So don't be distracted by the due date of 7 days. We'll be working throughout the next few weeks until April 17th with both the instrument design and your data collection. So really the next due date, April 17th, will be for you to complete the method section here, and I will have needed to see all of your data that you have collected over the course of these 5-6 weeks. Those might be your field notes, they might be recordings. I will need to have seen your instruments, and the instruments you will reference in the method section by saying see Appendix A, see Appendix B, and so on, and you will need to include a copy of each of your instruments here in the appendix at the end of your document. So the transcripts that you have that you will later complete, you will not need to include all of the transcripts in the document, but you will need to include at least one example of a transcript, and you'll reference that as well in your document. So again, in the appendix you'll include your instruments and one example of the transcripts that you've done through either interviews or focus groups, or transcripts that you obtained from your field notes, depending on the type of study. If you're doing more of a discourse analysis, that might apply. But this is where we are at this point in the research. The literature review needs to be pretty close to being completed at this point. If not, you need to work on that. and go ahead again and upload the information to the method section. We'll be looking at that each week as you progress throughout your data collection process. So I hope this helps. If you do have any questions, feel free to leave comments below the video. Also, you can send me emails in InGrade, and you can also obviously come by my office and we can discuss any challenges that you're facing at this time.